बिल्लाहि मिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. Dear friends, welcome to Idea Foundation Forum. In continuation of lectures on Quranic philosophy of unity in diversity, topic of our discussion today is why Allah created the man on his nature. In this respect, we may get through the purpose of the man's creation and his final fate in the hereafter. Allah created the man as a creature that could reflect his attributes, reflect Allah's attributes, and could replicate his acts with love and devotion. Why? Because he appointed the man his vicegerent on the earth and gave him a purpose of his creation. Please note the references from Quran. The man was landed on the earth for grooming of a personality befitting for a greater role to be assigned in the life of hereafter. Since he was desired to reflect Allah's attributes and replicate his acts, Allah blessed him with his own nature so that he could know him, his divine order, well, very well, and perform his assigned role most effectively and purposefully. To ease him in performing his assigned role, he was blessed with a soul, heart, mind, and a wonderful body with 5 senses to know huge material resources. Material resources subjugated to him and employ them in achieving the purpose of his creation. Along with these possessions, the man was accorded with a free will, free personality, free will to decide his submission or defiance to the role assigned to him by Allah so that his status could be determined for the hereafter. However, it was Allah's unique love for the man that he was guided with the divine message to save him from any pitfalls due to his free will. Thus, in the life cycle of the man, his creation on the pattern of Allah's nature carries a great objective to carve out a personality, to make out a personality, to promote a personality most suitable for the performance of his role of vicegerent of Allah. In the upcoming discussion, this relationship will be explained with the help of Quranic verses and ahadith in some detail. Dear friends, our discussion today is focused on ayat 30 of Surah Ar-Rum, which reads, فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا. I read again. فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا. Translation is, adhere to the fitra of Allah, Allah's nature, upon which He has created all the people, the whole humanity. If we reflect upon the meanings of the verse, 3 important points may be noticed. These are, the man is made on the pattern of Allah's nature. He is to adhere to Allah's nature, and the message is a direction, not an advice. Thus, adoption of Allah's nature or His character is not a matter of choice. Rather, the man is obliged to adhere to Allah's nature and adopt His character as the Quran necessitates it in its message very precisely and forcefully. Now the question is important. Now the question is why the man was created on Allah's nature and so much emphasis is given on the adoption of Allah's nature or His character. 5 reasons appear quite obvious that make this adoption obligatory. First reason is best explained in a Hadith Qudsi stating the reason why Allah has created the man on His own nature. The Hadith describes Allah's great intention in a very expressive manner in the words, كنت كنزا مخفيا فأحببت أن أعرف فخلقت الخلق لكي أعرف. Translation is, I was a hidden treasure. Allah is saying, Allah was a hidden treasure and I wish to be known, so I created a creation, the mankind, then made myself known to them and they recognized me. The hidden treasure mentioned in the Hadith is the great attributes of Allah's divinity, His nature. Since Allah's intention was to reveal His divinity through the personality of the man, it necessitated that Allah's being, His nature must be manifested in the personality and conduct of the man, and that comes true by emulating Allah's attributes. Thus the man is desired to be the reflection of Allah's nature, a model of His attributes. To enable the man sustain this connectivity with the divine nature, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam directed the Muslims to emulate Allah's nature, His great attributes in the words, تَخْلَقُوا بِإِخْلَاقِ اللَّهِ تَخْلَقُوا بِإِخْلَاقِ اللَّهِ. Second reason lies in the man's performance as vicegerent of Allah. The man was created on Allah's nature so that familiarity with Allah and His attributes could ease him in performing his challenging task of managing the affairs of the earth as the vicegerent most effectively and purposefully. Third reason why the man was created on Allah's nature was to enable him maintain coherence with the divine order. All elements of the universe and the man are interconnected and operate within the divine order under the unitary laws of nature, as we discussed in lecture 159 and 161. For that, Quran has strongly desired that physiological coherence in humans and global collective behaviors should be synchronized with the universal systems pursuing the laws of nature, which refer to order, balance, justice, coherence, and mutually supporting conduct of the elements, small or big, of the universe. This order or coherence provides necessary resilience, equilibrium, and perseverance to the sustainability of the individual as well as the universal systems. Let us ponder on ayat 5 to 9 of Surah Ar-Rahman shown on the screen. This coherence, equilibrium, and psychophysiological order necessitate the man's adherence to the laws of nature and complete coherence with the tunes of the nature, with the music of the nature, as the man's nature is replica, is duplicate of the divine nature. For detailed study on this subject matter, lecture 121 may be revisited. Fourth reason is, since the man's nature is replica of the divine nature, the Quran has directed the man to look at the wonders of the universe and inside of his self to access the treasures of divine wisdom and coherence with nature as revealed in Surah Fussilat and Surah Az-Zariyat shown on the screen. This philosophy is further explained in a hadith. Please listen. What a beautiful hadith. فَقَدْ عَرَفَ نَفْسَهُ فَقَدْ عَرَفَ رَبَّهُ. Whoever knows himself knows his God. If the man keeps his soul purified, if the man keeps his soul purified that reside in his self, it connects him with the divine order. When the man with this feeling of affinity meditates in his self, he starts knowing his most gracious Creator and his great divinity encompassing the whole universe and his own self too. Fifth reason is related to the free personality accorded to the man. In the grand plan of the man's creation, he was blessed with a lot of powers over the resources of the universe, marvelous abilities of mind, body, along with a free personality, and a predetermined role to be performed within the code of conduct well defined by the divine message, the Quran. Thus, this earthly life was made a testing ground for the man, place of test and trial. This earthly life was made a testing ground for the man. His performance here will be evaluated to determine his status for the hereafter. However, it was Allah's unique love for the man that He did the best to save him from any pitfalls due to his free will. Thus, Allah's intention to create the man on his own nature was to keep him inclined to the righteous life, the life that serves the purpose of his creation, which is defined as, listen, purpose of man's creation must be kept in mind. It is to establish a just, peaceful, and materially as well as intellectually growing society, ensuring complete submission to the will of Allah and well-being of humanity. For detailed study of the purpose of man's creation, Lecture 3 or Idea 1A or 2 may be revisited. Dear friends, before we conclude our discussion on the man's obligation to adhere to Allah's nature or His attributes, it is important to understand. It is important to understand that this obligation is not selective or restricted. Rather, it is applicable in all the spheres of life, personal as well as societal, political as well as economic, and socio-cultural as well as religious. Allah's attributes of kindness, forgiveness, and benevolence are for the whole creation. Thus, these sentiments of the man must not be discriminatory in view of color, caste, or religion. Justice and equity ought to be upheld across the board. Peace and growth should be sacred right of every segment of the humanity. Well-being, freedom, human dignity, and civic rights must be ensured to each and every member of the humanity without political, geographic bounds or socio-political distinctions. These are the standards that the Quranic teachings desire from the man to realize by becoming the model of Allah's great attributes. Let us conclude our discussion with Allah's great message communicated through Ayat 77 of Surah Al-Qasas. Allah says, listen, وَأَحْسِنُوا كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ وَلَا تَبْغِ الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. Translation is, and do good as Allah has done good to you, and desire not corruption in the land. Indeed, Allah does not like corruptors. Please give special attention to the sentence, and do good as Allah has done good to you, is the core reason, is the fundamental reason why Allah created the man on his nature. So my dear friends, these programs are recorded both in Urdu and English. Their videos can be watched on ideafoundation.com.pk website or its YouTube channel and Facebook. Their written versions are also available on the Idea Foundation's website. Please note code number of this program Idea 2 R7 or lecture number 163. All friends are requested to subscribe the Foundation's YouTube web channel for the benefit of the noble cause. Thank you friends for participation. Allah Hafiz.